It is time to continue on with the prospect pool overviews. Today we got the Utah Mammoth. This is a beautiful hat that my girlfriend bought me. Very, very nice. The Utah Mammoth prospect pool, even though this is a team that most of their guys have officially graduated to the NHL, it's still overall a pretty good prospect pool in my honest opinion. So let's hop right in here, starting off with Tej Aginla, who is the best prospect in this pool, in my opinion. He's from Lake County, British Columbia. He is a left wing who is 6 foot, 194 pounds, was drafted 6th overall in the 2024 draft. Played 21 games this year in an injured season with the Kelowna Rockets. Had 14 goals, 18 assists for 32 points. He went under a hip surgery, but he was on an absolute tear for the Mammoth. He was playing, or for the Mammoth, for the Rocket. He was putting up some phenomenal numbers in that amount of time. It just sucks that the injury played a factor there. Could the injuries be a concern in the future? Maybe, but this guy's got some dynamic offensive upside, great passing, great overall scoring. I think if he wouldn't have gotten hurt, he could have peaked at 100 points this year in the WHL for Kelowna. So he's one of those guys that I am very high upon. And even though he does have the injury problems and has been injured the last couple of years, he is a player who I am still very, very high on. So be on the lookout for Tej Aginla making a real impact in the NHL next season. He could be somebody who possibly makes the team out of camp for Utah, even though he is 19 years old. When this guy is healthy, he can put up some real phenomenal numbers. And as well as that too, I'm pretty sure you guys will already know this, but he is the son of Jarome Iginla. The Mammoth were given some draft luck and ended up picking 4th overall in this year's draft. And with that being said, they drafted Caleb Denoye, who I think is going to be a pretty dangerous player for them. He was born in St. Hethnice, Quebec. He's 6'2", 183 pounds, was drafted 4th overall in this past year's draft. He played 56 games with the Moncton Wildcats this year, had 35 goals, 49 assists for 84 points. He is known as a very smart 200-foot player. Again, he won the QMJHL championship with Moncton, put up 30 points in 19 games played in their playoff run. This is a guy who can play on both sides of the rink. He's a good two-way type of guy, and I think that for a team like Utah who does lack some center depth, I think getting a guy like Denoye here who will fit in well, possibly on your second-line center slot, it's a really good acquisition. And I think that for him, you can be very excited in the future because, again, I think this kid has the real skill. He was one of those more underrated players in the draft. And, I mean, he wouldn't have been my choice, in my opinion. I would have liked to have gone with Porter Martone. But Utah needed centers. And this is a center-filled, center-deep draft. And a guy like Denoye being there at that slot will fit in very well there with Utah. So, overall, I'm very high on Caleb Denoye, and I'm very excited to see what he's going to do in the NHL down the road. He's still a ways away, but he can be very entertaining. Now, these next two were the players who were drafted in 2023 by the Arizona Coyotes, and they were KHL champions this past year. We'll start off with Danil But, who is a left wing born in Yaroslavl, Russia, is 6'6", 216 pounds, was drafted 12th overall in 2023. He played 54 games with the Locomotive, had 9 goals, 19 assists for 28 points. This guy is a big boy. He is big. He is very big sized. He's dynamic. He's got that good offensive skill. I know he didn't show it that much. He's got a good two-way sense as well. But he was also a KHL champion. And I feel like that brings a massive plus with this prospect and the other prospect as well, Simashev. These are two players who were drafted and at the time were heavily criticized, but they have been developing in the KHL for the last 2 seasons. They have put up some great numbers, and they will be coming over to North America next season. So there is a really solid chance we will see both of these players in the NHL next year. But Boot is one of them, and I think he's actually the worser of the two. But regardless, he's got that big size. He can be physical, and he's a very good player. So I'm excited to see what Boot's going to do. He's going to be a lot of fun. Dmitry Simashev is the other of those two. He was born in Kostroma, Russia. He's 6'5", 203 pounds, drafted 6th overall in 2023. He is a left shot defenseman. He played 56 games with Locomotive this year, had 1 goal, 5 assists, 6 points. This guy is known for his defensive play. He might be the best defensive defenseman prospect in the entire National Hockey League. He's got great skating form and has great defensive skill. Again, this guy's not going to be known a lot for scoring a lot of points. He's going to be known for his lockdown defensive play. And for a team like the Mammoth, who struggled with keeping their blue line healthy, I think Simashev has a really good chance at making this team out of training camp. Some people might find that crazy, but in my honest opinion, I think this guy just has a dynamic skill and overall is a very, very solid player. So Simashev is one of the guys that I am incredibly high on heading into the 2025-26 season, and is somebody who I do believe will make the Coyotes out of training camp. You get that KHL experience, you carry it on with you, you get that pro experience. He has a lot of it, so I'm looking forward to seeing what this guy's going to do, but I really do believe that he will play for the Utah Mammoth this year. So next up here, we have a guy who was drafted in this past year's draft. We have Max Pasenica, who was born in Prague. He is 6'5", 185 pounds. He was drafted 46th overall in this past year's draft. He played games in Plzeň with the Czech team there, but also played games in the North America with the Portland Winterhawks in the WHL. Played 24 games, had 1 goal, 6 assists, 7 points. He's got good skating and good overall skill, but he is very raw. I cannot exemplify that enough. He is very, very raw. Now, one thing that's really notable about a lot of the guys here in Utah's prospect pool, Tija Ginla, 6 foot, shortest guy there. Caleb Denoye, 6'2". Danil Butt, 6'6". Simashev, 6'5". Pasenica, 6'5". They love their guys with real skill. And I think, size. And I think that matters. Of course, I screwed that up. I think that really does matter, and it is very important. They love to draft guys who are big, who have that, towering size. So Pasenica has that size to him, and he's got that good skating skill, but he is a long ways away from the NHL, maybe like 3 to 4 years. So as we keep doing these yearly prospect pool reviews, we're going to be monitoring Pasenica's NHL prospect development. So he's going to be one of those guys we're following here for a while. But overall, I'm very excited to see what he's going to do with the Mammoth in the future. And then you look at Utah's goaltending prospect. Now, they do have Karel Vizmelka as their current goalie, but they do have somebody developing in the system who could be phenomenal. Michael Harabel was born in Praha, Czechia, just like Pasenica. He's 6'7", 216 pounds, drafted 38th overall in 2023, had a 19-12-5 record with a 2.37 and a .924 with UMass this past year. He's got some great size and some awesome stats in the NCAA this past year. Awesome stats. So again, like everywhere he's gone, pretty much he's gotten better and better as the years have gone on. So there's a lot to look forward to here with this guy. And again, I know like goaltenders, it makes a lot of sense there with size, but obviously he's 6'7" as well. So nobody below 6 foot, which is wild to me in the Utah's main prospects. So honestly, I think he's still a year or two away. I don't think he's ready yet for the NHL. I think he plays another year in UMass, and then you consider possibly making an NHL leap or AHL leap at the very least. But this is somebody who has been like developing for a while and was drafted, and people looked at him and was pretty high about him. So Michael Harabel, I'm very interested to see what he's going to do and what development path he's going to take here moving forward. Again, my prediction is that he takes one more year in the NCAA. The Mammoth think about him, and then if it doesn't work out, then you take him back to another year with UMass. But regardless, let me know your thoughts down below what you think about Harabel, but he is the goaltending prospect of the future for Utah. Looking at your other prospects here around the Mammoth pool, you have Maverick Lamoureux, who did play games with Utah this past year, had 3 points in 15 games played, 13 points in 42 games played with Tucson. I don't believe he will be a prospect next year. I think this guy will be a consistent player for the Mammoth next season. Cool Bedoin just finished up his third season in the Ontario Hockey League, had 51 points in 52 games played. Solid point-per-game player, but nothing too exciting. Stepan Hosh was one of the guys who was drafted this past year, did play with the Czech League. He actually started playing with the Czech League again this year. 2 games played, 1 goal so far. Artyom Dutta just finished up his first season in the AHL, had 29 points in 70 games played, was playing in Canadian college last season. And then you have Yegor Borikov, who has started his KHL campaign, has an assist in 2 games played with Dynamo Minsk in the KHL. And then, that being said, you take a look at the Mammoth prospect pool rankings. You have Tijagindla there at number 1, Simashev at number 2, Denoye at number 3, Boot at number 4, Lamoureux at 5, Harabel at 6, Boudouin at 7, and then Borikov, Pasenica, and Dutta round out your top 10. Overall, I think 1 to 7 will be NHLers. After that, it's a little bit like of a guessing game, but 1 to 7 will be NHLers, and that is very good. For a team that is up and coming and could make the playoffs next year, that is a very good look for your prospect pool and a very good future overall. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below on the Utah Mammoth prospect pool. Thank you all very much for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to like the video down below, subscribe if you are new. But regardless, that is it for me. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.